Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. We're heard right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, 120 more subscribers needed to hit 2,000. So if you're watching, you're enjoying the content, you don't subscribe, please consider hitting that subscribe button and tell all your friends. Tell all your friends about Shooting Up North. Let them come and subscribe as well. Trying to get to 2,000. Okay, if you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Shooting Up North, Instagram at Alliance PW Network, and feel free to join our Facebook group, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Okay, few things to talk about. Not going to take up too much of your time today. First and foremost, Harley Hudson. Harley Hudson wins TNA/Impact Wrestling UK Gut Check competition. UK indie talent, actually a very, very good talent. Harley Hudson was the winner of the TNA UK Gut Check competition that took place in Coventry, England, today, October 29th, as part of the TNA/Impact Wrestling UK Invasion Tour. Here's breaking news on social media. It says the hot and not bothered liver. What does that say there? Liverpudlian, hope I got that right. Pocket Rocket. Harley Hudson beats the masses and wins the Gut Check tournament in Coventry. And that's on the Impact Wrestling UK social media. Harley Hudson saying, I have no words. Thank you, everyone, for your kind messages. I can't believe it. Now that she's won the Gut Check tournament, the competition, I should say, she is going to, she has won a developmental deal with TNA Wrestling and will begin training for the promotion at the Can-Am Dojo right here in Windsor, Ontario. And in case you don't know, the head trainer at the Can-Am Dojo is the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. So she's in good hands with Josh Alexander. But once again, Harley Hudson is the winner of the TNA UK Gut Check competition, signs a developmental deal with TNA, and begins training with the promotion, I guess, in the near future at the Can-Am Dojo here in Windsor, Ontario. So here's what we know. I didn't know anything about I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know anything about Harley Hudson. So I contacted my buddy Michael Jolly in England, who's in England, and he gave me a little bit of information. So here's what I could pass along to you in case you don't know who Harley Hudson is. So again, thank you, Michael Jolly, for giving me this information. So here he says she's based out of Liverpool. She was ranked 238 in the PWI recent that was the top 500 women wrestlers. She was ranked 238 in that poll. She held numerous women's championships on the British scene, including Future Shock, Wrestle Island, PCW, and is one half of the current TNT Women's World Champions with Lizzie Evo. I hope I got that right. 6 years experience, debuting in 2017. Also, a lot of people on social media are excited about this, saying that she is a future star. So I guess we can start getting excited now. Got another young talent. I don't know her age offhand, but she can't be more than 22, 23 years old. But another young talent heading to Impact Wrestling. Yesterday they signed Leon Slater, 19-year-old pro wrestling sensation, pro wrestling prodigy, Leon Slater, to a long-term deal. I'm sure he'll be training at the Can-Am Dojo as well. But they also now they're bringing in Harley Hudson, who was the winner of the Gut Check tournament in the UK, and she is now part of. I don't want to say she's part of the Impact Wrestling roster, the TNA roster. See, I'm getting used to it. I say I got to get used to it. So the TNA roster, as Leon Slater is, she signed a developmental deal, and she just has to work her way up. She actually had a match today in Coventry. I forgot who her opponent was, and she was the victorious. I'm not going to go over the spoilers in case nobody wants to. People don't know who won; they want to check it out. But I can tell you, that she did win her match. So very excited. So it was a hugely successful tour of the UK. Lots of good crowds, big crowds came out to see Impact Wrestling, and they're coming home with Leon Slater and Harley Hudson, two young potential. Leon Slater is going to be a superstar without a doubt, and they have a potential superstar in Harley Hudson as well. So it's not a bad tour of the UK. You know, returning to the UK for the first time in numerous years. So good job all around for Impact Wrestling, and say Scott D'Amore saying that they will be back in the UK, and he plugged TNA again, and he didn't drop an F-bomb, but he had somebody else drop the F-bomb for him. So getting a little edgier now. TNA is going to be a little edgier, as I mentioned. So yeah, so we'll keep our eyes on Harley Hudson, and of course we're going to keep our eyes on Leon Slater, who's going to be an absolute superstar. And if you haven't seen my watch my podcast that I talked about Leon Slater yesterday, go on and check it out. My podcast, it's actually doing really well, and I really appreciate it. It's really getting up there in views. So thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. I know I've been away for a bit, but thank you for sticking with me, keeping the faith. I'm here. I'm back. I'm with you guys. Let's have a hug, virtual hug. Come on, guys. Bring it in here. Bring it in here. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so good stuff. Very successful tour of the UK, 4-day tour, for Impact Wrestling. Chris Ridgeway also. Chris Ridgeway, he's a free agent. He's a freelancer. Made his debut for Impact Wrestling today as well, against Josh Alexander. It was a surprise debut. Now I hope people are familiar with Chris Ridgeway more so than they are with Harley Hudson. Chris Ridgeway, terrific talent. I know Chris Ridgeway from Pro Wrestling Noah. He's a formerly held one half of the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. I can't remember. I think his partner was Ita. I can't remember who his partner was, but they had to relinquish the title because there was some family matters he had to attend, and he hasn't been back in Noah since. But he's been wrestling in the UK. He made a surprise debut today for Impact Wrestling. Took on Josh Alexander. I don't even know who won the match, to be honest. All I know is he made his debut, so I would assume that Josh Alexander would have won the match, or maybe went to a draw or something. But Chris Ridgway, great talent. 30 years old. He's a free agent. I think he would be a great addition. I mean, if they bring him in to take a look at him, I would definitely bring him back over the Atlantic Ocean and back into the U.S. and let him have a few dates with Impact Wrestling. He's a great talent, Chris Ridgway. But again, making his debut against Josh Alexander today in Coventry, England. Very successful tour. Very, very successful tour of England. Again, like I mentioned, Leon Slater, you know, Harley Hudson. I forgot her name. Still learning about her. Still trying to remember her name. Very successful tour in the UK. Now is the time for Impact Wrestling / TNA to come back, begin fresh in January, and let's start closing that gap between them and AEW. Let's start doing it right now in January. And there's another name that was released today by MLW. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say another name that was released today, another name that requested their release, and it was granted. Yesterday was Alexander Hammerstone requesting his release, but it wasn't granted. But today, Lance Anoa'i, I hope I got that right. Lance Anoa'i requested his release today, and it was granted. So Lance Anoa'i, I hope I'm getting it right. If I'm not, I'm sorry, Lance. But he has requested his release, and it was granted. Also, Juicy Finau also released from MLW. So Lance Anoa'i, he had a terrific showing in Pro Wrestling Noah's N1 Victory Tournament. He showed that he is definitely a top star. And man, if Impact Wrestling wants to get a little edgier, if Impact Wrestling wants to really, really start picking up the pace and start closing that gap, I think Lance would be a terrific addition to the Impact Wrestling roster. Now that he's officially released, he's been released. He's a free agent. He's out there. He actually posted today. As of today, I've been granted my MLW release. I want to thank MLW. Want to give a big shout out to my Usos, Juicy Finau, and Samoan Werewolf. That's Jacob Fatu. Thank you for everything. Love you guys. So there's no indication that he's going anywhere else. But Impact Wrestling, he would be a terrific addition to Impact Wrestling. Again, he was just absolutely phenomenal in the Pro Wrestling Noah N1 Victory Tournament. And if Impact Wrestling, if Scott D'Amore is not paying attention to what's going on right now, I don't know what's going on in MLW. Hammerstone requesting his release now. Lance Anoa'i and Anoa'i and Juicy Finau requesting their release and being granted. So I don't know what's going on over there. There's people, wrestlers don't seem to be happy. There's something going on over there at MLW. But nonetheless, I think and if Hammerstone, of course, I talked about it yesterday. If Hammerstone is released, he would be a terrific signing for Impact Wrestling as well, and they could really start closing that gap between them and AEW. And I really, deep down inside, man, deep down inside, that's a little crooked. Deep down inside, I really think that they're going to start closing the gap starting in January 2024 with the return of Impact Wrestling. Leon Slater, I keep saying it because he's a phenomenal signing. If they could bring a few more names, if they could bring in Chris Ridgeway, they could sign Lance Anoa'i to come on in. Man, oh man. And if Hammerstone would be the big, and if they're able to get CM Punk or Will Ospreay, one of the two, or even both of them, my goodness, I really feel, man. I really feel it, man. I really feel now is the time. Now is the time. Big things are really going to happen, and Tony Khan's going to have a some real competition from TNA wrestling. I really feel it now, man. I just do. I just do, man. All right, so we're gonna leave it at that for now. Anything else breaks, I won't be back tonight. So if anything else breaks, I won't be back tonight. Unless the only thing that'll bring me back is if they announce Will Ospreay or CM Punk has signed with Impact Wrestling. That's the only thing that will bring me back. But other than that, well, thank you very much for joining me again. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I'm back, and let's enjoy each other's company for the next year or two. What do you say? All right. So until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye. Not until then, 2 years from now. Until next time, probably tomorrow or the next day. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye bye.